City Junction. River City, next station stop.
You're crazy with the heat. Credit ain't no good for a notion, salesman.
What? All aboard.
Why not? What's the matter with credit?
It's old-fashioned. Charlie, you're an anvil salesman. Your firm give credit?
Oh, no, sir.
Nor anyone else.
River City next.
Cash for the merchandise. Cash for the button hooks.
Cash for the cotton goods, cash for the hard goods.
Cash for the soft goods. Cash for the fancy goods.
Cash for the noggins and the pickins and the firkins.
Cash for the hogshead, cask, and demijohn. Cash for the crackers and the pickles and the fly paper.
Look, what do you talk? 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 Where do you get it? What do you talk?
You can talk, you can talk. You can bicker, you can talk. You can talk, talk, talk. You can bicker, you can talk. You can talk, 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 talk. Bicker, bicker, bicker. You can talk all you want, but it's different than it was.
No, it ain't, but you gotta know the territory.
It's Model T Ford made the trouble. It made the people want to go, want to get up and go 8, 9, 10, 12, 14, 22, 23 miles to the county seat.
Yes, sir, yes, sir.
Who's going to patronize an itty-bitty 2x4 kind of store anymore?
What do you talk? What do you talk?
Where do you get it?
Not the Model T at all. Take a gander at the store, at the modern store, at the present-day store, at the present-day modern departmentalized grocery store.
What do you talk? What do you talk? What do you talk? What do you talk? What do you talk?
Where do you get it?
What do you talk? What do you talk? What do you talk?
Where do you get it? You can talk, you can talk. You can bicker, you can talk. You can talk, 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 talk. Bicker, bicker, bicker. You can talk all you want, but it's different than it was.
No, it ain't, but you gotta know the territory.
Why, it's the you need a biscuit made the trouble. You need a. Put the crackers in the package. Package the you need a biscuit. Airtight, sanitary package. Made the Cracker Barrel obsolete.
Obsolete.
Cracker Barrel went out the window with a mail pouch cup plug charmed by the stove. Changed the approach of a traveling salesman, made it pretty hard.
No, it didn't, but you gotta know the territory.
Go on.
Gone with the hogshead, cask, and demijohn. Gone with the sugar barrel, pickle barrel, milk pan. Gone with the tub and the pail and the tears.
Ever meet a fellow by the name of Hill?
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 Hill? No.
Just a minute.
Never heard of any salesman, Hill. No, he doesn't know the territory.
Doesn't know the territory?
What's the fellow's line?
Never worries about his line.
Never worries about his line?
Or the Cracker Barrel being obsolete. Or the you need a biscuit in an airtight sanitary package. Or the Model T Ford.
Just a minute.
Never worries about his line.
Never worries about his line.
Or a doggone thing. He's just a bang, beat, bell ringing, big hog, great go, necker nothing, rip roaring every time a bullseye salesman. That's Professor Harold Hill.
Tell us, what's his line?
He's a fake and he doesn't know the territory.
Look, what do you talk? He's a music man.
He's a what?
He's a music man, and he sells clarinets to the kids in the towns with the big trombones and the rat-a-tat drums and the big brass bass. And the piccolo uniforms too, with a shiny gold braid on the coat and a big red stripe running.
Well, I don't know much about bands, but I do know you can't make a living selling big trombones. No, sir. Mandolin picks perhaps, and here and there a Jew's harp.
No, the fellow sells bands, boys' bands. I don't know how he does it, but he lives like a king, and he dillies, and he gathers, and he plucks, and he shines, and when the man dances, certainly, boys, what else? The piper pays him. Yes, sir. When the man dances, certainly, boys, what else? The piper pays him. Yes, sir.
But he doesn't know the territory. River City. We're across the state line into Iowa. River City, Iowa, population 2,212. Don't forget, cigarettes are illegal in this state. All aboard. All right, if you're all through, I'll tell you about this fella Hill.
Charlie, you really know this fella Hill?
Oh, I've never seen him in my life, but I know this much. He's given every one of us a black eye. Why, after he's worked the town over, the next salesman to arrive gets automatically tarred and feathered and rolled out to the city limits on a rail. Well, if you think that's funny, wait till that happens to you. Your hair never grows back.
Well, why they ride around a town on a rail for?
Because in order to sell band instruments and uniforms and instruction books, he's got a guarantee to teach them kids to play.
Well?
And to form them kids into a band with himself as the leader.
What's wrong with that?
Well, he doesn't know one note of music from another. That's what's wrong with that. He can't tell a bass drum from a pipe organ. If I catch up with that swindling two-bit thimble rigger, I'll squeal on him so loud.
Oh, you are mad, Charlie. I sure would like to be there when you catch up with
Well,
that
it won't
fella.
be in this state. Not in Iowa. Not even the great Professor Hill is going to try to sell them neck-bulled Hawkeyes out here. All aboard!
Gentlemen,
You intrigue me. I think I'll have to give Iowa a try.
I don't believe I caught your name.
Uncle Will didn't come, Aunt Bertha didn't come.
Your Aunt Bertha's dead.
Oh, she wouldn't have come anyway.
Really cold as a falling thermometer in December if you ask about our weather in July. And we're so by God stubborn we could stand touching noses for a week at a time and never see eye to eye. But we'll give you our shirt.
You're welcome, glad to have you with us, even though we may not ever mention it again.
You really ought to give Iowa, our sky, Iowa, to give Des Moines, Temple, Marshall, from Mississippi, you've got things clearly. Want to give Iowa a try.
Squires, I'm interested in the rig for Sunday if you could accommodate me.
And I expect you ought to see the man in charge of hiring rigs. He was late as usual.
Gregory!
Marcellus.
You old son of a gun. But Greg.
Professor Hill's the name. Harold Hill.
But Greg, what you doing here? Why didn't you let me know he was coming?
I didn't know I was myself. Besides, how could I know you'd end up in a little tank town like this? Hey, you were a pretty big slicker when you were in business with me.
Too many close shaves the way you work. Besides, I got a nice, comfortable girlfriend. Ethel Tofflemeyer, boss's niece.
Gone legitimate. Mars, I knew you'd come to no good.
What's the new pitch? Oh, no, you're not back in the band business. I heard you was in steam automobiles.
I was.
What happened?
Somebody actually invented one.
No.
Now, what's the lowdown here, Mars?
Greg, you're never going to get anywhere in the band business with these stubborn Iowans. Besides, we got this stuck-up music teacher who'll have you exposed before you get your grip unpacked.
Male or female?
The music teacher? She's a librarian, female.
Perfect. Just what I wanted to hear. If she passes by, you point her out to me.
I will. How are you going to start the pitch?
Same old way. Got to keep that music teacher off balance. Then I'm going to have to get your town out of the terrible trouble it's in.
River City ain't in any trouble.
Then I'll have to create some. I'll have to create a desperate need for a boys' band. Oh, come on, Mars, now you remember. Now, what's new around here? What can I use?
Nothing. Except the billiard parlors just put in a new pool table.
You mean to tell me they've never had a pool table before?
No, only billiards.
Perfect. That'll do. See you later, Mars. And remember, music teacher.
Music teacher.
Mr. Dunlap.
Yep.
Either you're closing your eyes to a situation you do not wish to acknowledge, or you are not aware of the caliber of disaster indicated by the presence of a pool table in your community. Well, you got trouble, my friend. Right here, I say trouble right here in River City. Why, sure, I'm a billiard player, certainly mighty proud. I say I'm always mighty proud to say it. I consider that the hours I spend with a cue in my hand are golden. Help to cultivate horse sense and a cool head and a keen eye. Did you ever try and take to give an ironclad lead to yourself from a three-railed billiard shot? But just as I say it takes judgment, brains, and maturity to score in a ball-flying game, I say that any boob can take and shove a ball in a pocket. And I call that sloth. The first big step on the road to the depths of degradé is say, first it's a little medicinal wine from a teaspoon, beer from a bottle. And the next thing you know, your son is playing for money in a pinchback suit. And listening to some big out-of-town Jasper, hearing him tell about a horse race gambling. Not a wholesome trotting race, no, but a race where they sit down right on a horse. Like to see some stuck-up jockey boy sitting on Dan Patch, make your blood boil? Well, I should say. Now, friends, let me tell you what I need. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pockets in the table. Pockets that mark the difference between a gentleman and a bum with a capital B, and that rhymes with P, and that stands for pool. And all week long, your River City youth will be frittering away. I say your young men will be frittering. Frittering away their noontime, supper time, chore time, too. Get the ball in the pocket, never mind getting dandelions pulled or the screen door patched or the beefsteak pounded. Never mind pumping any water till your parents are caught with the cistern empty on a Saturday night, and that's trouble. Oh, yes, we got lots and lots of trouble. I'm thinking of the kids in the Knickerbocker, short-tailed young ones, peeking in the pool all winter after school. You got trouble, folks, right here in River City, with a capital T, and that rhymes with P, and that stands for pool. Now, I know all you folks are the right kind of parents. I'm going to be perfectly frank. Would you like to know what kind of conversation goes on while they're loafing around that hall? They'll be trying out Bebo, trying out QF, trying out tailor-mades like cigarette fiends, and bragging all about how they're going to cover up a telltale breath with sins in one fine night. They leave the pool hall, heading for the dance at the Armory. Libertine men and scarlet women in ragtime. Shameless music that'll drag your son and your daughter to the arms of a jungle animal instinct. Mass hysteria! Friends, the idle brain is the devil's playground. Trouble.
Oh, we got trouble.
Right here in River City.
Right here in River City.
With a capital T and rhymes with P, and that stands for pool.
That stands for pool.
We've surely got trouble.
We surely got trouble.
Right here in River City.
Right here.
Gotta figure out a way to keep the young ones moral after school.
Our children gonna have trouble.
Mothers of River City, heed the warning before it's too late. Watch for the telltale signs of corruption. The moment your son leaves the house, does he rebuckle his knickerbockers below the knee? Is there a nicotine stain on his index finger? A dime novel hidden in the corn crib? Is he memorizing jokes out of Captain Willie's whiz-bang? And are certain words creeping into his conversation? Words like swell and so's your old man? Oh, well, if so, my friends, you got trouble.
Oh, we got trouble.
Right here in River City.
Right here in River City.
With a capital T, and that rhymes with P, and that stands for pool.
That stands for pool.
We've surely got trouble.
We surely got trouble.
Right here in River City.
Right here.
Remember the Maine, Plymouth Rock, and the Golden Rule.
Our children gonna have trouble.
Oh, we got trouble. We got terrible, terrible trouble. That game with the 15 numbered balls is the devil's tool. Oh, yes, we got trouble, trouble, trouble.
Oh, yes, we got trouble here. We got big, big trouble.
With the T.
With the capital T.
Gotta rhyme it with P.
That rhymes with P.
And stands for pool.
That stands for pool. Oh, we got trouble, trouble, trouble. Right here in River City with a capital T. That rhymes with P. That stands for pool. Stands for pool. Sure got trouble, trouble. Right here in River City. Right here. Gotta figure out a way to keep the young ones moral after school.
Excuse me, did you drop your handkerchief?
No,
Didn't we meet in...
no,
You know, I'm only going to be in town a short while, and...
good.
dear. Now your exercises.
Yes, ma'am. I don't recall the library being open the last 4th of July.
It was, Mama, all evening. Mama, a man with a suitcase has been following me all over town.
Oh, who?
I never saw him before.
Did he say anything?
He tried.
Did you say anything?
Mama, of course not. Now don't dawdle, Amaryllis. Sol, do, la, re, ti, mi, a little slower, and please keep the fingers curved as nice and high as you possibly can. Don't get faster, dear.
You don't mind me saying so. It wouldn't have hurt you to find out what the gentleman wanted.
I know what the gentleman wanted.
What, dear?
You'll find it involves that.
Excuse me for living, but I've never read it.
Neither has anyone else in this town.
There you go again with the same old comment about the low mentality of River City people and taking it all too much to heart.
Now, Mama, as long as the Madison Public Library was entrusted to me for the purpose of improving River City's cultural level, I can't help my concern that the ladies of River City keep ignoring all my counsel and advice.
But darling, when a woman has a husband and you've got none, why should she take advice from you? Even though you can quote Balzac and Shakespeare and all them other highfalutin Greeks.
Mama, if you don't mind me saying so, you have a bad habit of changing every subject.
No, I wasn't changing the subject. I was talking about the stranger.
What stranger?
In a suitcase who may be your very last chance.
Mama, do you think that I'd allow a common master? Now, really, Mama, I have my standards where men are concerned, and I have no intention.
I know all about your standards, and if you don't mind my saying so, there's not a man alive who could hope to measure up to that blend of Paul Bunyan, St. Cloud, and Noah Webster. You've concocted for yourself out of your Irish imagination, your Iowa stubbornness, and your library full of books.
Well, if that isn't the best I've ever heard.
Thank you. Can I have a drink, please?
May I have a?
May I have a drink, please?
Yes, dear.
Winthrop, it's after dark. Is that any way to walk into the house? Oh, now that won't do it up. I'll have a kiss from me bye. And that lady over there is your sister, young man.
Hello, Winthrop.
Winthrop, where's your manners?
I'm having a party on Saturday. Will you please come? I would especially like it if you'd come. Winthrop?
Well, Winthrop, Amaryllis asked you to her party. Are you going or aren't you? No. No what?
No, thank you.
You know the little girl's name.
He won't say Amaryllis because of the S because of his lisp. He's ashamed.
We know all about his lisp, Amaryllis. Well, Winthrop?
I'll bet he won't say it. No, thank you, Amaryllis. Amaryllis. He's crying. Why does he get so mad at people just because he lisps?
It's not only because he lisps, Amaryllis. That's just part of it.
What's the other part?
Never mind, dear. It's just that he doesn't talk very much.
Not even to you and your mother?
No, dear. We all have to be a little patient.
I'm patient, even though he doesn't ever talk to me, but I do him. Every night on the evening star, I say goodnight to him. You have to do it the very second you see it, too, or it doesn't count. Good night, my Winthrop. Good night. Sleep tight.
Dear darling, don't cry. You have lots of time. If not Winthrop, there'll be someone else.
Never. I'll end up an old maid like you. I'm sorry, Miss Marion. Can I play my cross-hand piece?
May I play mine?
May I play my cross-hand piece?
You may.
See, without a sweetheart, you have no one to say goodnight to on the evening star.
I know, Amaryllis. For the time being, just say goodnight, my someone. You can put the name in when the right someone comes along.
All right, it's better than nothing.
Yes, it is. Now you can play your crosshand piece.
Now I may play my crosshand piece.
to carry you close to me. I wish they may, and I wish they might. Now good night, my someone, good night. True love can be whispered from heart to heart. When lovers are parted, they say, but I must depend on a wish and a star, as long as my heart doesn't know who you are. Sweet dreams be yours, dear, if dreams there be. Sweet dreams to carry you close to me. I wish they may, and I wish they might. Now good night, my someone, good night. Good night, good night.
My manners make tyranny tremble when born by the red, white, and blue. When born by the red, white, and blue. When born by the red, white, and blue. My banners make tyranny tremble when born by the red, white, and blue.
I'm sure we're all grateful to my wife, Eulalie McKechnie-Shin, for leading the singing. And to J.C. Squires for his fine stereoptic and slide. And to Ethel Toffelmeyer, our fine piano player. As mayor of River City, I welcome you, River City-ians, to these 4th of July exercises set up here in the indoors in Madison Gymnasium on account of the weather. Fourscore. The members of the school board will now present a patriotic tableau.
Oh, that's not right.
The members of the school board will not present a patriotic tableau. Some disagreement about costumes, I suppose. Instead, the Watauga girls of the local wigwam of Hiawatha will present a spectacle, my wife, in which my wife, Eulalie McKechnie-Shin, will take a leading part.
Watauga. 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 I will now count to 20 in the Indian tongue. Een, teen, t'other, feather.
cover. No thanks to a certain young ruffian who's a disgrace to our city. 77 years ago, the Payne's fireworks spectacle, last days of Pompeii, will take place, providing the rain stops, about 9:30. It'll be over in Madison Picnic Park in the far meadow across the creek from the pest house.
How can it be raining? Didn't the Gazette predict fair?
Sure did, Ewart. That's why we're all prepared for a storm.
The Gazette is accurate most of the time. You know it, JC.
You wouldn't be in the banking business very long being accurate most of the time.
Just a minute here. Let's have order.
Looks like number 8's late again.
I'd make her early.
She's late already.
She's right on time. Smell your watch.
Well, you members of the school board, stop your bickering in public.
All in the world that I
Never mind. 80.
We heard there's a pool table in town.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Well, is it a pool table or isn't it?
Well, will you let me get on with these exercises?
Let's forget about these exercises until this pool table matter is settled.
Let's protect our children. Resist sin and corruption. Smite that devil and keep our young boys pure.
Keep those boys pure, yeah. Come on.
Friends, may I have your attention, please? Attention, please. I can deal with this trouble, friend, with the wave of my hand, this very hand. Please observe me, if you will. I'm Professor Harold Hill, and I'm here to organize the River City Boys Band. Think, my friends, how could any pool table ever hope to compete with a boys' band? Ra-ra-ra-da-da-da. Remember, my friends, what a handful of trumpet players did with the famous fabled walls of Jericho? Oh, billiard parlor walls come tumbling down. Oh, a band will do it, my friends. Oh, yes, I mean a boys' band. Do you hear me? I say River City's got to have a boys' band, and I mean she needs it today. Well, Professor Harold Hill's on hand, and River City's gonna have her boys' band as sure as the Lord made little green apples, and that band is gonna be in uniform. Johnny, Willie, Teddy, and Fred. And you'll see the clashing of glittering cymbals. And you'll hear the thunder of rolling drums and the shimmer of trumpets. Dun-da-da-da! And you'll feel something akin to the electric thrill I once enjoyed when Liberati, Gilmore, the great Creator, W.C. Handy, and John Philip Sousa all came to town on the very same historic day. 76 trombones led the big parade, with 110 cornets right behind. They were followed by rows and rows of the finest virtuosos, the cream of every famous band. 76 trombones caught the morning sun, with 110 cornets close at hand. There were more than 1,000 reeds springing up like weeds. There were horns of every shape and kind. There were copper-bottom timpani and horse platoons, thundering louder than before. Double-belled euphoniums and big bassoons, each bassoon having his big fat say. There were 50 mounted cannon in the cavalry, thundering louder than before. Clarinets of every size and trumpeters who'd improvise a fall octave higher than the score.
Began to march, and their marching still right today.
calls for emergency action. I haven't seen Iowa people get so excited since the night that Frank Gotch and Strangler Lewis lay on the mat for 3.5 hours without moving a muscle. Oh, never mind that. I want you to get that spellbinder's credentials. Grab that hoodlum! He almost blew up this shit!
Thanks, Professor. Have to make an example of this one. Ringleader, you know, what he does, his gang does.
Geely Clyde, let me go.
You wild kid, you hanging around my oldest girl. His father's one of those day laborers south of town. You wild kid, you tagging down Main Street after my oldest daughter.
I wasn't either tagging.
Don't contradict me.
We's just walking together. Geely Clyde.
You watch your phraseology. I know what you was doing because my little Gracie's seen you. Now you stay away from my oldest girl or you'll hear from me till who laid the rails.
Hill, I want to talk to you about this band business. Monday morning over at City Hall, 10 o'clock sharp.
Man, get that spellbinder's credentials.
Constable, I'll be responsible for the boy.
You don't know this kid. He's tough. He's got his gang waiting outside.
Oh, I'll be real careful. Tommy, want to talk to you about the band.
Ah, gee, Professor, that's for the little kids.
Oh, I'm not thinking about you playing in the band. You're mechanically minded, aren't you? Ever done anything with perpetual motion?
Nearly had it a couple of times.
You're my man. Now listen, do you realize that nobody has ever invented a music holder for a marching piccolo player? No place to hang the music.
Geely Clyde, wonder where I could get some wire from.
Look in your cellar. That's where people keep wire. Oh, Tommy.
Yes, sir?
Constable, now I'm going to show you how to break up a gang. Young lady, miss, what's your name?
Zanita, I didn't have any idea you was beckoning to me. Eat gods.
You know Tommy Giles?
Well,
Tommy, this is Anita. I'd like you to escort the young lady home.
Only excepting I'm not going home. I have to go to the library. Eat gods.
Then escort the young lady home by way of the library, by way of the candy kitchen.
Yes, sir. Do I have to?
You have to.
Yes, sir.
Eat gods.
You're pretty bright, Professor. Made a couple mistakes, though.
Oh?
The mayor owns the billiard parlor and the new pool table.
What was my second mistake?
That's Anita. That's the mayor's oldest girl.
Just a minute, Professor. We got to have your credentials. We're the school board.
Academic certificates.
Nothing of the kind.
We need letters and papers.
Make them put up a bond.
What's this I'm hearing?
Say, ice cream. Ice cream? I don't sing, young man, if that's what you think.
All right, talk then. But talk slow and talk down here. Ice cream.
Ice cream.
See, singing is only sustained talking. Now you, sir.
Ice cream.
Now you, sir.
Ice cream.
And now you, sir, right up here.
Ice cream.
Ladies, from now on, you'll never see one of these gentlemen without the other three.
Oh, Professor, you're wrong. These men have hated each other for 15 years.
Ice cream, ice cream, ice cream.
How can there be
any sin insincere? Where is the good in goodbye, in goodbye? Your apprehensions confuse me, dear. Puzzle and mystify, mystify. Tell me what can be fair in farewell, dear, while one single star shines above. How can there be any sin insincere? Aren't we sincerely in love?
boat or anything.
No.
You know, I've got some wonderful carnivals over at the hotel if you care.
Mr. Hill.
Professor Hill.
Professor of what? At what college do they give a degree for annoying women on the street, like a Saturday night rowdy at a public dance hall?
Well, I wouldn't know about that. I'm a conservatory man myself, Gary, Indiana, gold medal class of 1905.
Even should that happen to be true, does that give you the right to follow me around wherever I go? And another thing, Mr. Hill, I'm not as easily hoodwinked or mesmerized as some of the people in this town. And I think it only fair to warn you that I have a shelf full of reference books in there that might very well give me some interesting information about you.
Hey, Gregory!
Marcellus, but don't call me Greg.
How'd you make out with the music teacher?
Scrumptious. She ate right out of my hand the minute I tipped my hat.
She did? Boy, did you cut a swath for yourself. For a minute, even I thought you might know something about leading a band. Reminded me of how you used to imitate that band concert fella back in Joplin.
Oh, this is kid stuff. Just keep your eyes on me for the next 4 weeks.
4 weeks? It used to only take 10 days for the instruments to arrive.
Still does, but it takes 4 weeks for the uniforms.
Oh, no, Greg. You haven't added uniforms.
Uniforms and instruction books.
Instruction books? The people are never going to believe you're any music professor. I mean not for any 4 weeks. You don't know one note from another.
I have a revolutionary new method called the Think System, where you don't have to bother with all the notes.
In 4 weeks, the people are going to be wanting to hear music, and you're going to have to lead a band.
But by that time, when the uniforms arrive, they won't be thinking about anything else, and I can just collect and leave. Oh, this is a refined operation, son. I've got this timed right down to the last wave of the brakeman's hand on the last train right out of town. Now, Mr. Washburn, if you will excuse me...
Ooh, gonna line yourself up a little canoodling, huh?
Well, I thought I might...
Hey, I could fix you up with Ethel's sister. Lovely girl, teaches Sunday school.
No wide-eyed, eager, wholesome, innocent Sunday school teacher for me. That kind of girl spins webs no spider ever... Listen, boy, a girl who trades on all that purity merely wants to trade my independence for her security. The only affirmative she will file refers to marching down the aisle. No golden, glorious, gleaming, pristine goddess. No, sir, for no Diana do I play fawn. I'll tell you that right now. I snarl, I hiss. How can ignorance be compared to bliss? I spark, I fizz. With a lady who knows what time it is, I cheer, I rave. For the virtue I'm too late to save, the sadder but wiser girl for me. No bright-eyed, blushing, breathless baby doll baby. No, sir, that kind of child ties knots no sailor ever knew. I prefer to take a chance on a more adult romance. No dewy-eyed miss who keeps resisting. All the time she keeps insisting. No wide-eyed, wholesome, innocent female. No, sir, for she's the fisherman. I'm the fish you see. Plop! I spark. I for the lady, that's what time it is. I smile. I grin. For the lady who knows what time it is. I hope. I pray for Hester to win just one more ray. The sadder but wiser girl for me. The sadder but wiser girl for me. Yeah!
Oh, Professor Hill, we're all agog, simply agog. On the QV. Oh, Professor, everyone is so excited about the band.
I'm Ethel Toffelmeyer, the pianola girl.
And this is Mrs. Squires and Mrs. Hicks. And of course, you've met Eulalie McKechnie-Shin, our mayor's wife. Oh, isn't it exciting, Eulalie?
I really couldn't say. I really could not say. I'm sure my husband will wish to investigate, so naturally I'm reticent. Oh, I'm very reticent.
Well, of course, Mrs. Shin, I understand. But you see, part of my plans include a committee on the dance. And I was wondering if Oh, Mrs. Shen, do that again. The way you raised your foot just then.
Oh, well, I have a bunion that bothers.
Oh, what grace. What natural flow of rhythm. What line of expression and movement. Mrs. Shin, you must accept the chairmanship of the Ladies' Auxiliary for the Classic Dance. Mustn't she, ladies?
Yes, you ladies.
You must.
Well, Eulalie McKechnie Shin. Well, dancing. Well,
Mrs. Shin, every move that you make bespeaks Del Sart. You will accept, won't you?
Yes, indeed, but I would like to say...
Thank you.
Yes.
And now for the piano teacher, Miss Marion Peru. After all, she is the librarian, I believe.
Pick a little, talk a little, pick a little, talk a little, chip, 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 talk a lot, pick a little more. Pick a little, talk a little, pick a little, talk a little, chip, 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 talk a lot, pick a little more. Pick a little, talk a little, pick a little, talk a little, chip, 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 talk a lot, pick a little more. Pick a little, talk a little, pick a little, talk a little, chip, 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 chip.
Professor, her kind of woman doesn't belong on any committee. Of course, I shouldn't tell you this, but she advocates dirty books.
Dirty books.
Chaucer, Rabelais, Balzac.
And the worst thing, of course, I shouldn't tell you.
I'll tell. No, he lived on my street. Let me tell.
Stop. I'll tell. She made brazen overtures to a man who never had a friend in this town until she came. Old Miser Madison.
Miser Madison. Madison Gymnasium. Madison Hospital. Madison Picnic Park. That Miser Madison.
Exactly. Who do you think he was, anyway?
Exactly. The show-off. He gave the town the library, too, didn't he?
That's just it. When he died, he left the library building to the city.
But he left all the books to her.
And she was seen going and coming from his place.
Oh, yes. That woman made brazen overtures with the gilt-edged guarantee. She had a golden glint in her eye and a silver voice with a counterfeit ring. Just melt her down and you'll reveal a lump of lead as cold as steel. Here, for a woman's heart.
He left River City, the library building, but he left all the books to her.
Chaucer,
Rabelais, Balzac.
Just a minute here. We need your credentials.
Why, yes, gentlemen. You see, I have just what you want up in my hotel room. It'll take me just a minute. Good night, ladies. Good night, ladies. Good night, ladies. Good night, ladies. We're going to leave you now. Farewell, ladies. Farewell, ladies. Farewell, ladies. We're going to leave you now. It's all right. I know everything and it doesn't make any difference.
What are you talking about?
You were probably very young. Anyone can make a mistake.
What?
No apologies, no explanations, please. I'm only going to be in town a short while and the sadder but wiser girl for me.
Will you please make your selection and leave?
I already have.
Well, what do you want to take out?
The librarian.
Quiet, please.
The librarian. You're not listening, Marion. Look. Marion. Marbles. 6 Steelies. 8 Aggies. A dozen Pee-wees and 1 big glassy with an American flag right in the middle. I think I'll drop them.
No!
Madam Librarian. What can I do, my dear, to make it clear. I love you madly, madly, Madam Librarian. Marian, heaven help us if the library caught on fire and the volunteer hose brigade men had to whisper the news to Marian. Madam Librarian, what can I do, my dear, to catch your ear? I love you badly, badly, Madam Librarian. Marian, if I stumbled and I busted my whatchamacallit, I could lie on the floor unnoticed till my body had turned to carrion. Madam Librarian, now in the moonlight a man could sing it, in the moonlight, and a fellow would know that his darling had heard every word of his song with the moonlight drifting along. But when I try in here to tell you, dear, I love you badly, badly, Madam Librarian. Marian, it's a long lost cause I can never win, for the civilized world accepts as unforgivable sin the talking out loud with any librarian, such as Marian. Madam Librarian. But when I try in here to tell you, dear, I love you madly, madly, Madam Librarian. Marian, it's a long lost cause I can never win, for the civilized world accepts as unforgivable sin the talking out loud with any librarian, such as Marian. Madam Librarian. The ladies' dance committee meets Tuesday nights at the high school. Marshmallow? Well, Tommy, that's a pretty good morning. 11 sales out of 12 tries. Now, I tell you what, it's almost dinner time. You run on home and get something to eat. I'm going to try a few by myself for a while.
Okay, goodbye, Professor.
See you, Tommy.
Just a minute here, Professor. What are you doing ringing my doorbell? Are you soliciting? You haven't got a permit.
Why, no, Mr. Mayor. You see, I collect doorbells, and this one has a particular tone quality.
Flattery will not avail you. Soliciting is statutory in this county. Malfeasance without a permit. Why haven't you been down at City Hall with your references?
Why, Mr. Mayor, I just missed you. Mr. Mayor, that hand.
What?
That spread of the little finger on the hand.
What?
Do you know that that's hereditary?
It is? What does that mean?
It means that your son's little finger is perfectly situated to play the spit valve on a B-flat flugelhorn.
Oh, is that good?
Good. It means that America has at last produced an artist who can flugel the minute waltz in 50 seconds.
Oh, how can I get one of those horns?
Why, Mr. Mayor, you just sign right here.
Oh, yes, sir.
That'll be $7 import fee.
Oh, just think I could have missed this. Why, my son might... I don't have any son.
You unscrupulous flu-by-night, you unfly, you be down at City Hall with your by-God papers at 3 o'clock.
You mean this afternoon?
I couldn't make myself any plainer if I was a Quaker on his day off.
Why, Mrs. Peru, do you realize you have the facial characteristics of a cornet virtuoso?
I don't know if I understand you entirely, Professor.
Why, if your son has that same firm chin, those splendid cheek muscles, not that he can ever be really great, you understand?
Oh, is that so? And in the name of St. Bridget, why not?
Well, you see, Mrs. Peru, all of the really great cornet players were Irish. O'Clark, O'Klein, O'Mendez.
But we are Irish, Professor.
Mrs. You are. Well, that clinches it. Your son was born to play the cornet. Now, if you'll just sign right here, Mrs. Peru, that'll be $7 import fee. Not a penny more due till band rehearsal. Fine and fine. All I'll really need now are his measurements for his band uniform.
His uniform?
Hello there, son. Why, certainly. With not a penny more due until the beginning of band rehearsal for that uniform, and that gives him 4 weeks to enjoy, to anticipate, to imagine at no cost whatever. Never allow the demands of tomorrow interfere with the pleasures and the excitement of today.
Would it have
A stripe? Why, certainly, my son. A big wide red stripe right down each side. What do you think of that?
You'll have to excuse Winthrop, Professor. We can't get him to say 3 words a day, even to us. And if you can get him to play in the band, you'll have St. Michael's own way with you. But if anyone can do it, I know you can. Out of a crowd, I'll pick you for a hat-carrying, clay-pipe-smoking, shamrock-wearing, Mavornin pinching. How does Hall minstrel say an Irishman be gobbin' be jobbers? Where are you from, me by?
Gary, Indiana.
I knew it, Gary. Where did you say?
Gary, Indiana. In fact, Gary Conservatory was my alma mater.
Was she now?
Gary, Indiana Conservatory class of 1905. Why, howdy do, Miss Peru.
How to do, Mr. Hill?
Why, of course, Peru. I thought that name sounded familiar. You know, I've been trying to see you since the other night.
Marion, he wants to put Winthrop in the band.
We're not interested, Mama.
But Marion, the boy might have his father's musical gift. He does have my jaw, you know.
Oh, your husband's musical. You know, I would just love to talk
Do
with
you
you.
burst in on everyone's home like this, prying into personal affairs? We're not interested.
But Marion...
Well, that's 1 for and 1 against. Why don't we just let the boy's father decide?
The boy's father is dead. Is there anything else?
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't understand, but you see, that's all the more reason why your brother should
My brother is a 10-year-old problem child who can't understand why his father was taken away. Would you care to explain it to him? He's been brooding about it for 2 years. As to your musical tricks, why don't you go into business with some nice carnival man who sells gold-painted watches and glass diamond rings?
Musical tricks, Miss Peru, I hardly think you... By golly, I think she likes the idea. Oh, she's a bit cautious, perhaps, but you know I admire that in a woman. You just keep me alive and I'll be back in a week.
Oh, 1 moment, Professor, about the boy's measurements.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Sleeve 21, waist 18, crotch 14.
Fine, fine, Mrs. Peru. Now I must get back to the hotel.
Professor, you must excuse Marion.
Mrs. Peru, don't you worry about a thing. I'm sure she's just as lovely a lady as yourself. Good day to you, Widow Peru.
Has he gone? He has, and I hope not forever. Darling, don't you ever think of your future? Gary, Indiana, conservation class of Art 5. Now, darling.
Now, Mama, surely a girl's future doesn't depend on encouraging every fast-talking, self-centered, woman-chasing traveling man who comes to town. And the fact that he claims his commodity is music does not, in this particular case, impress me.
All right, darling, all right. But it's a well-known principle that if you keep the flint in one drawer and the steel in another, you'll never strike much of a fire.
Mama! Winthrop! I know you're there. Please go to the library and ask Miss Grubb for the book I set aside. It's the Indiana State Educational Journal, 1890 to 1910. It's a large green volume.
Do I have to?
You won't have to talk to anyone. I've written it all down. Thank you, dear.
Now what are you up to? Why do you need books at this time of the night?
I have a feeling that the Indiana Journal may help me poke some large holes in the professor's claims.
Well, I give up. At your age, if you don't mind me asking, what kind of a white knight do you think's going to come riding along?
Well, I'm not waiting for Luther Griner, who backs me into the ancient history shelf every time he comes into the library.
He does?
Or Ed Gamage in that buggy of his with a removable back seat. But I'm not waiting for a man in shining white armor either. My white knight, not a Lancelot, nor an angel with wings, just someone to love me, who is not ashamed of a few nice things. My white knight, what my heart would say if it only knew how. Please, dear Venus, show me now. All I want is a plain man. All I want is a modest man, a quiet man, a gentleman, a straightforward and honest man, to sit with me in a cottage somewhere in the state of Iowa. And I would like him to be more interested in me than he is in himself, and more interested in us than in me. And if occasionally he'd ponder what makes Shakespeare or Beethoven great, him I could love till I die. Him I could love till I die. My white knight, not a Lancelot, nor an angel with wings, just someone to love me, who is not ashamed of a few nice things. My white knight, let me walk with him where the others ride by. Walk and love him till I die. Till I
Nita, it's Nita.
Tommy, Papa and Mama are sitting right there in the church. Ye gods!
All right, then meet me after supper.
I can't. It's Upworth League night. Meet you where?
The footbridge.
You see, isn't that just what I said? Last time the lumberyard, and now the footbridge. And where will it be next? The black hole of Calcutta? Ye gods!
I only wanted to show you my invention.
What invention?
My music holder for a marching piccolo player. Still has a couple of minor flaws. See, when you hold it tight enough to keep the music steady, you cut off the circulation, and you can't wiggle your fingers. And meanwhile, you could go blind.
Tommy, it's Papa!
Is that the first thing I said or not?
Yes, George.
Yes. The very first thing I said, or I'll eat hay with a horse. Get that spellbinder's credentials, I said, morning of July the 4th. And now look, my wife is out dancing at any and all hours instead of staying home.
But George...
And the school board is singing up street and down alley instead of tending to village affairs. And my eldest daughter is boodling around with some wild kid. My business has fallen off so bad, I can't even find the balance sheet. Oh.
Mayor Shin, I found something very interesting in this book about Professor Hill's alma mater.
His who?
His university.
Oh, yes. Oh, I know all about that. In fact, that's the only thing I can get out of him. Gary Conservatory, class of '05.
If you'll just take some time to read a little bit about the conservatory, I don't think you'll have to look further.
Papa! The wells, by the way, it's just come up from the depot.
Don't get out.
Well, the likely store at this hour of the day? Nonsense. The Wells Fargo wagon?
It could be the band instruments.
The band instruments.
Oh, the Wells Fargo wagon is coming down the street. Oh, please let it be for me. Oh, the Wells Fargo wagon is coming down the street. I wish I knew what it could be.
I got a box of maple sugar on my birthday.
In March, I got a gray Mackinac.
And once I got some grapefruit from Tampa. Montgomery Ward sent me a bathtub and a crosscut saw.
Oh, the Wells Fargo wagon is coming now. Is it a prepaid surprise or COD?
What is it for a double boiler?
It could be.
Yes, it could be. Yes, you're right. It surely could be.
Something special.
Something very, very special now.
Just for me.
Oh, the Wells Fargo wagon is coming down the street. Oh, don't let it pass my door. Oh, the Wells Fargo wagon is coming down the street. I wish I knew what he was coming for.
I got some salmon from Seattle last September.
And I expect a new rocket time.
I hope I get my raisins from Fresno. The DAR is sent a cannon for the courthouse square.
Oh, the Wells Fargo wagon is coming now. I don't know how I can ever wait to see. Could be something for someone who has no religion, but it could be something special just for me.
Oh, the Wells Fargo wagon, keep it coming. Oh, the Wells Fargo wagon, keep it coming. Oh, the Wells Fargo wagon, don't forget to make a stop until you stop for me.
It's the band instrument!
Here you are, Winthrop.
My trumpet, this, Professor?
Now, men, each one of you will receive individual instructions in due course. In the meantime, I want you to go home, study your instruments, and think the minuet in G. La-di-da-di-da-di-da-di-da, la-di-da, la-di-da.
Sister, isn't this the most scrumptious thing you ever saw? I never thought I'd ever see anything as scrumptious as this silver thing. Oh, sister!
Round one for you, Mr. Hill. But I better hear some by God tooting out of them horns in pretty short order, or I'm going to see you in front of the grand jury over at the county seat. Yes. Now, Miss Marion, about that book.
Come, George. Tempest fugitive.
Oh, you watch your phraseology. Go along if you want. I want to get something from the library about that book. Ah, yes.
The Ladies' Dance Committee meets Tuesday nights at the high school.
Now shall we have a go at our Grecian urns? One Grecian urn, two Grecian urns, and a fountain. Trickle, trickle, trickle. Oh, girls, that's just splendid, just lovely. I know our Del Sart display will be the highlight of the ice cream sociable. Now, gentlemen, if you're ready, girls, one more thing. Always keep your face to the audience. Ready, Mr. Dunlop?
It's you in the sunrise, it's you in my cup, it's you all the way into town. It's your sweet hello, dear, that sets me up, and it's your got to go, dear, that gets me down. It's you on my pillow in all of my dreams, till once more the morning breaks through. What words could be saner or truer or plainer than it's you? It's you. Oh, yes, it's
Please, kid, Miss Shingle, have my hand.
We are entitled to 5 more minutes.
If you think you can hold these kids back, you go ahead.
Start her up, Mr. Washburn. Wait till you see the new stuff Professor Hill taught us.
All right, kids, what will it be?
The shapoopy.
Shapoopy. The woman who kissed on the very first date is usually a hussy, and a woman who kissed the second time out is anything but fussy. But a woman who'll wait till the third time round, head in the clouds, feet on the ground, she's the one you're glad you found. She's your shapoopy, 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 shapoopy.
The girl whose heart's in debt.
Shapoopy, shapoopy, shapoopy.
But you can't win her yet.
Oh, a girl wants just to raise the curtain and you walk around first just to make for certain. Once more in the flower garden, she will never get sore if you beg her pardon.
Do re mi fa sol la si do, si la sol fa mi re do.
Squeeze her once when she isn't looking. If you get a squeeze back, that's fancy cooking. Once more for a paper upper, she will never get sore on her way to supper.
Do re mi fa sol la si do, si do.
Now, little old Sal was a no gal, as anyone could see. But look at her now, she's a go gal, and she only goes for me. Squeeze her once when she isn't looking. If you get squeezed back, that's fancy cooking. Once more for a paper up, she will never get sore on her way to supper.
Do re mi fa sol la si do, si do.
Shapoopy, shapoopy, shapoopy. The girl whose heart you get. Shapoopy, shapoopy, shapoopy. But you can win her yet.
Professor, show us some new steps.
Shapoopy, 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 a girl who's hard to get. Shapoopy, 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 but you can win her yet. You can win her yet. Shapoopy.
You take your hands off my daughter.
Papa!
Mayor Shin, Your Honor, your daughter and I are going steady behind your back.
Why, you...
We'd rather do it in front of your back.
Do what? Oh, never mind.
Zanita's scared of you, but I'm not. I should think you'd hate to have your own daughter scared of you. Really, Clyde.
Well, I'm going to warn you once more. If I catch you touching my daughter again, by golly, I'll...
Now, George.
You won that one poop out of you, madam.
I think he means peep.
Yes. And you get out of this public building.
I have as much right in a public building as anyone.
Right. How do you get any right around here, aiding and abetting the swindling activities of that cymbal salesman? You know what I see written all over you? Reform school. Now get out of here, you wild kid. You get out.
Papa, please! It's Capulets like you make blood in the marketplace. Eat gods!
You watch your phraseology, young woman. Go home. You, Laylee, you tend to your dance.
But George,
You tend to your dance. I'll handle it, Zanita.
Dance.
Run around with that wild kid from the...
Mr. Mayor, if I could just make you understand.
Well, you can't. And thanks a lot for nothing. I've been reading that book you gave me cover to cover all last week. I can't find anything.
Mr. Mayor, if you please.
I'll settle your hatch later, as soon as I get these premises off my daughter.
All right, Mr. Mayor. But I want you to know that I'm vouching for Tommy Gillis. That boy's got the confidence of every kid in town. Why, you're going to be standing in line waiting to shake his hand by the time our band plays its first concert.
By the time your band plays its first concert, the band members will have to foregather in their wheelchairs. Count of the broken legs they'll get from tripping over their beards. And I'll tell you another thing, my father find. Oh, never mind. Oliver, Ewart. I want you to get that man's references and get him tonight. Don't let him out of your sight. He's slippier than a Mississippi sturgeon.
You mean you want us to get his credentials?
You get his credentials or get him in jail. I couldn't make myself any clearer if I was a button hook in the well water. Yes.
Professor Hill, I think Mayor Shin has behaved abominably. And I think it was wonderful of you coming to Tommy's defense.
Oh, that was nothing.
Oh, yes, it was.
Oh, no. You see, a man can't dodge the issue every time a little personal risk is involved. What is it the poet says? The coward dies 1,000 deaths. The brave man, but 500. Unfortunately, the mayor was pretty upset about that billiard parlor of his, and I suppose a letter of recommendation from a musical authority like yourself might help, but you see, I really couldn't ask you to risk anything like that.
Professor Hill?
You would?
I'd be glad to. I just wish I were a little more informed. I've been wanting to talk to you about Winthrop's cornet.
His cornet. Yes, mother of pearl keys.
Oh, yes, I'm sure it's fine, but you see, he never touches it. Oh, the first week or so, he made a few, experimental blats, I guess you'd say.
Yes, blats.
And he sings the minuet in G almost constantly.
La-di-da-di-da-di-da-di-da. La-di-da, la-di-da.
But he never touches the cornet.
Well,
he says you told him it wasn't necessary.
Well,
he tells me about some think system. If he thinks the minuet in G, he won't have to bother with notes.
And now, Miss Marion, the think system is a revolutionary new method, I'll admit. But so was Galileo's conception of the heavens, Columbus' conception of the egg, the globe, Bach's conception of the well-tempered clavichord. But you see, I really can't discuss all of these issues with you right now. If I could only be allowed to call, when might I call?
Why, any night this week.
Pick a little, talk a little, pick a little, talk a little, chip, 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 talk a lot, pick a little.
Miss Peru, we've come to tell you that your kind of woman belongs on the Delsart committee.
Oh, my dear, you were so sweet dancing Mr. Poopy with Professor Blue while you danced like a fairy princess with a moonbeam for your floor. You had a golden shimmer in your hair and silver shoes for all to see. We know that you will soon unfold the forgiving heart of purest gold here, where a woman's heart should be. Fairy princess, moonbeam floor, golden shimmer, silver shoes. Now unfold, heart of gold, here where a woman's heart should be. The professor told us to read those books, and we simply adore
sorry, Professor, but we got to have your credentials.
We all been deputized.
Yes, well, congratulations. You know, I've tried to get together with you fellas a couple of times this week to give you my references and my credentials. But it seems like every time we get together, you just get off the subject somehow. Now, I have just what you want up in my hotel room. It'll take me just a minute.
We'll have to go with you.
Well, let me see if I have my key. Oh, what's this? Why, it's a letter of recommendation from Madame Reaney, the only female bassoon player ever to play on the Redpath circuit. That was her stage name. Actually, she was from Moline. Lyda Rose Quackenbush.
Could I see that a minute, please?
Oh, you'll never forget a name like that. Lyda Rose, just like the old song. Lyda Rose, I'm home again, Rose, to get the sun back in the sky. Lyda Rose, I'm home again, Rose, about 1,000 kisses shy. Ding dong ding, I can hear the chapel bell chime. Ding dong ding, at the least suggestion, I'll pop the question. Lyda Rose, I'm home again, Rose, without a sweetheart to my name. Lyda Rose, now everyone knows that I'm hoping you're the same. So here is my love song, not fancy or fine. Lyda Rose, oh, won't you be mine? Lyda Rose, oh, Lyda Rose, oh, Lyda Rose.
Dream of it, dream of a love song that might have been. Do I love you? Oh yes, I love you, and I'll bravely tell you, but only when we dream again. Sweet and low, sweet and low, how sweet that memory, how long ago, forever, oh yes, forever, will I ever tell you, oh no.
Lyda Rose, oh, Lyda Rose, oh, Lyda Rose, I'm home again, Rose, to get the sun back in the sky. Lyda Rose, I'm home again, Rose, about 1,000 kisses shy.
Do I love you? Oh yes,
I can hear the chapel bell chime.
and I'll bravely tell you, but only
At the
when
least
we dream
suggestion, I'll pop the question. Lyda Rose, I'm home again, Rose, without a sweetheart to my name. Lyda Rose, now everyone knows that I'm hoping you're the same. So here's my love song, not fancy or fine.
will I ever tell?
Lyda Rose, oh, won't you be mine? Lyda Rose, oh, Lyda Rose, oh, Lyda
With yourself, will you ever tell him or won't you ever tell him? Ah, yes, I know. Ah, fiddlesticks. Just open your mouth and let it come out. Now, Mama. Now, nothing. If he comes to call again, you see him alone, and if you haven't got the gumption to tell him how you feel... Tell him? Well, there's nothing wrong with a ladylike hint. Mama! Winthrop, where have you been?
Fishing?
Fishing?
With Harold.
You mean Professor Hill?
I saw some Murpha.
Did you have a good time?
Scrumpet. He told me all about his hometown, Gary, Indiana. And he said he'd take me there someday. And he taught me a song with hardly any S's in it. Gary, Indiana, Gary, Indiana, Gary, Indiana, let me say it once again. Gary, Indiana, Gary, La-di-da-di-da-di-da.
Leave the dishes, Mama. I'll do them. Don't you have to change for the sociable? There's time later.
Shins live around here somewhere.
The Shin home is on East Elm. This is West Elm.
Oh, crimey. Say, I see you're the piano teacher in town. You must know about this fella Hill forming a boys' band around here.
Yes?
Well, don't let it worry you no more. I got the goods on him in spades. Swindling two-bit thimble rigger. That's why I gotta see Shin. Oh, and I'm only passing through. Number 8 only makes a 15-minute water stop. Sure wish it was 20. I'd like to concentrate 5 minutes on you, girly girl.
Who are you?
Name's Charlie Caldwell, anvil salesman. But right now I'm out to protect the good name of the traveling fraternity from this swindler Hill.
Mr. Caldwell, you're making a big mistake.
Oh, mistake my old lady's corset cover. This guy's been the raspberry seed in my wisdom tooth just long enough. He spoiled Illinois for me, and he's not going to spoil Iowa. Say, what kind of music teacher are you anyway? You didn't see through him.
Well, that's band leaders are always called professor. It's a harmless deception. He's a fine director in his scholastic...
Now, just a minute, fine director. Have you ever heard one note from any band?
No, but...
But nothing, girly girl. He's never formed a band in his life, and he never will.
If you just listen to me for a minute.
Oh, I'd like to. I'd like to do more than that if I had the time. I sure got the inclination. But I gotta get back on that train, and I gotta leave this dynamite with someone on the way to the steeple. Bye, girly girl. See you next time through.
Just a minute, Mr. Cowell. You don't know me yet.
Is that an invitation?
No, I meant I don't know you,
Oh,
and...
yes, I'd need more time anyway.
I mean as well as I'd like to.
No trouble there, girly girl.
I never met a man who sells anvils before.
Takes quite a salesman, I can tell you that. Anvils have a limited appeal, you know. What am I doing? I miss my train and I lose my job, and I gotta leave word about that Hill.
Leave word with me.
Not on your tin type. How do you know I deliver these letters?
Try me. There's your train. Now run for it.
Boy, you double-dealing little... Who do you think you're protecting anyway? That guy's got a gal in every county in Illinois, and he's taking it away from every one of them, and that's 102 counties. Not counting the piano teachers like you he calls these up to keep their mouths shut. Neither of you has seen the last of me yet, girly girl.
Ding dong, ding. At the least suggestion, now pop the question. Lila Rose, I'm home again. Ropes without a sweetheart to my name. Good evening, Miss Marian. Lila Rose, now everyone knows that I am hoping you'll
Marian, who was that you was talking to just now? I thought I heard you talk. Why, Professor Hill.
Mrs. Peru, top of the evening, Miss Marion.
Why don't you and Marian come over and sit a while? I've got some jelly on the stove.
There's no jelly on the stove, Mama.
Well, I'll put some on.
Could we set, as your mother said?
Well,
Well, you did invite me to call.
Did I? I didn't mean anything.
Now, Miss Marion, I'm not suggesting your invitation inferred anything other than academic enlightenment. The think system. You know, I've been by your house a time or two this week to try to explain it to you, and there always seemed to be a crowd of people around. Mostly ladies, I thought.
Yes, Mrs. Squires and several of the ladies.
I'm glad. I wouldn't want anybody beating my time. You wouldn't either. No, ma'am. Well, evidently this is not the convenient night to call. I'll see you at the sociable later.
Professor Hill, is it true that you've had 100?
Yeah.
What I'm trying to say is it really true that you've developed a think system?
A what? Oh, a think system. Yes, you see, it's really very simple. It's as simple as whistling. No one has to teach you how to use your lips in whistling. You merely have to think a tune up here in order to have it come out correctly.
That was amazing. That was incredible. I've never seen anything like that. No, that bottle had nothing to do with it. Sure, I know what it was. I'll bet it was a coinky dink. Yeah, I'm gonna open it up again. Let's see. Oh, ow! That hurt! I tell you, my gosh. No, it couldn't be. This bottle couldn't have anything to do with that. I'm gonna open it again before Wizzo gets back. I hope he doesn't come back right away and find out that I'm opening up his bottle. Boy, I'd be in trouble if Wizzo... Oh!
You opened that bottle, didn't you? I can tell you opened it.
How can you tell?
I can tell by what happened. All the catastrophes in Arabia are in here. Storms.
Wait a minute, hold it. All
volcanoes.
the catastrophes?
Yes.
All the catastrophes of Arabia are in that bottle?
Volcanoes, earthquakes.
Did they put you in there?
No. I took them all, and I put them in here, and Arabia is now safe.
It is, huh?
Yes. But do not open it again.
Wait a minute, hold
because the worst is left in the bottle.
Give me that.
No, the worst.
You want to know what your problem is, Wiz?
What?
You're superstitious. That's what you are.
Superstitious?
There's nothing in it. There's nothing in this bottle.
Don't.
It's
You
dangerous.
better not open it.
I'll prove it
You
to
better
you.
not.
I'll prove it to you. I'm going to open it up right now. Hey, see? Nothing happened.
Hey, fellas, I made your favorite breakfast.
Huh?
Yeah, French toast with...
To explain the think system to me.
Can't think of one.
I must be very dull company for a man of your experience.
Now say, where'd you ever get an idea like that?
One hears rumors of traveling salesmen.
Now, Miss Marion, one mustn't believe everything that they hear. One even hears rumors about librarians.
I suppose you're referring to Uncle Matty.
Uncle Matty.
Mr. Madison, my father's best friend. No matter what they say, he left me an assured job so that Mother and Winthrop and I would have some security. Surely you don't believe.
Well, of course not. That's exactly what I mean. Why do you think people start all those kinds of rumors?
Narrow-mindedness, jealousy. Jealousy mostly, I guess.
Exactly, and jealousy mostly starts rumors about traveling salesmen. What have you heard?
Oh, nothing about you personally, just generally.
What have you heard, generally?
Just that. But of course, it stands to reason that disappointment and jealousy can lead to, take you for instance. Your attentions to customers and, well, teachers might easily be misinterpreted now, mightn't they?
Why?
Now honestly, mightn't they? And so you say if some other salesman or somebody were jealous, why, they could be downright lies, couldn't they?
What could?
Rumors and things.
Why, yes, of course.
It just proves you should never believe everything you hear, doesn't it? If you discuss things.
My dear Miss Marion, you know I would be delighted to discuss just anything in the entire world with you. But I just wondered if we couldn't do it sitting down. You do sit. Your knees, they bend and all.
We could sit on the porch steps.
There's an old hollow log over near the footbridge.
Oh, I couldn't think of that. I've never been to the footbridge with a man before in my life.
Just to talk.
I have to dress for the sociable.
Then meet me in 15 minutes.
Oh, no, please, some other time, maybe tomorrow.
My dear little librarian, you pile up enough tomorrows, and all you're going to collect are a lot of empty yesterdays. Now, I don't know about you, but I'd like to make tonight worth remembering.
Oh, so would I.
The footbridge. 15 minutes.
15 minutes. Mama! Mama!
What?
I just told Professor Hill I'd meet him at the footbridge in 15 minutes.
Glory be and the saints be praised, it works.
What does?
I've been using the think system on you from the parlor.
uniforms have arrived, and the kids are in them already. If those kids show up at the sociable, the people will be screaming for music.
All right, Mars, go get the rig.
Now, here's the money. I got Tommy to collect it.
What time's the freight leave?
9:40 from the junction.
But it's not even 8:30 yet.
Look, you want to turtle wordle around here and get yourself caught in a bunny trap, you go ahead.
Mars, I'll meet you at the hotel in plenty of time. Miss Marion, you're late.
But you said 15 minutes.
Well, what I really meant was you're about 26 years late. Took you all this time to get to the footbridge with a fella.
If you want to know the truth, it was almost longer.
Oh?
Halfway here, I nearly turned back. Oh, I suppose I'm not the first to find it easier to think more clearly when not under the spell of your salesmanship.
Now, surely, Miss Marion, you don't think I've been trying to sell you anything?
No, you've given me something. That's why I decided to come.
I don't recall giving you anything.
Oh, yes, you have. Something beautiful. That's why I came. And I'm glad. Oh, please don't be afraid that I'll expect too much. One can't expect a traveling salesman to stay put. I know there have been many ports of call, and there'll be many more. But that's no reason for me not to be grateful for what you will have left behind for me.
Marion,
There were bells on the hill, but I never heard them ringing. No, I never heard them at all, till there was you. There were birds in the sky, but I never saw them winging. No, I never saw them till there was you. And there was music, and there were wonderful roses. They tell me in sweet fragrant meadows of dawn and dew. There was love all around, but I never heard it singing. No, I never heard it at all till there was you.
but I never heard it singing. No, I never heard it at all, till there Marion, there's a lot of things you don't know about me.
Wait.
Excuse me, I'm expecting a cable from Hector Berlioz. This could be it. Yeah. Now what?
Hey, who's the salesman here? Sounds to me like she's selling and you're buying.
You nuts? I didn't know I was going to be able to leave town tonight. Besides, I had to keep her off balance, didn't I? I told you.
She's so far off balance now, you can't tell her from a catboat in a hurricane.
Now listen, Buster Brown. I've come up through the ranks on this skirmish, and I'm not about to resign without my commission.
You're never going to get anywhere right out here on the footbridge.
There's an old place at Madison Park, near the sociable. Makes this footbridge look like the old ladies' home. Now go on, Mars. Beat it. Get the rig. Always something in the music business. Now then, where were we?
You were about to tell me what I don't know about you.
Oh, yes, I was, wasn't I? But I wonder if we really have to discuss that right now, do we?
No, we don't, Harold, or ever for that matter. The librarian hasn't felt much like doing research lately, but she did plenty of it when you first came.
Oh, about what?
Oh, about Professor Harold Hill, Gary Conservatory, gold medal class of '05. Harold, there wasn't any Gary Conservatory in '05.
There most certainly was.
Because the town wasn't even built until '06. See you at the sociable.
Then you knew all the time.
Since July 7th, 3 days after you came. I tore this page from the Indiana Journal. I intended to use it against you, but now I give it to you with all my heart.
But if you knew, why didn't... Why, you little...
With 110 cornets right behind, and I modestly took my place as the one and only bass, and I pod up and down the square.
Good night, my someone, good night, my love.
With 110 cornets right behind.
Our star is shining its brightest light.
There were horns of every shape and kind. Sweet dreams be yours, dear, if dreams there be.
While 110 cornets played the air.
I wish I may, and I wish I might. So good night, my someone, good night.
Greg, this guy's crazy. He's going over town spilling everything.
Crazy? I'll say I'm crazy. Missed my train, probably lost my job, but I got you now, Hill, and you pay. You'd have been in the cleats by now. Hadn't it been for that piano teacher. I tell her all about you, and what does she do? Lollygags me around so I can't get to shin. A round-heeled, dried-up, hungry doxy.
You foul mouth, get out of here.
You Lord! I'll stay in this town till you get yours up, down, through, and sideways. Why, you never even knew the territory.
Greg, here's your stuff. The rig's out back. Come on, hurry up.
Two Grecian urns.
Stop! Listen to this man. You gullible green grass goats. Can't you get it through your head you're being swindled out of your eye teeth right now? This minute? There's a burglar in the bedroom while you're fiddling in the parlor, and I'm talking about Harold Hill, road agent, highwayman, pickpocket.
Pickpocket?
The same thing. He's had his hand in your wallet, and yours, madam, and yours, little lady, ever since he got to this town. There isn't any band. There never has been any band, and there never will be any band. What? And if you don't hunt him down right now like a mad dog, there won't be any Harold Hill either. He'll be on the next train out of town. Now will you believe me?
Well, what are we waiting for? Let's get him.
I want my money back.
Money back? I want his hide. After him, and when you find him, bring him over to the schoolhouse. After him. Try the low road. Look down at the creek. Try the mill. Behind the privy.
trying to see you. Where have you been?
Harold, I've been looking for Winthrop. He's run away. Please go, Harold. Please, they're even talking about tar and feathers.
I had to talk to you, Marion.
It's all right. Don't you know that? You don't owe me a word. Not a word. Now, please go, Harold, please.
Great. He isn't around here anywhere. Let's try down to the creek.
Winthrop!
Hey, wait a minute here, son.
I'm not your son. Let me go.
No, not till I talk to you for a minute.
I wouldn't listen. You wouldn't tell the truth anyway.
I would too.
Would not.
Would too tell you anything you want to know.
Can you lead a band?
No.
Are you a big liar?
Yes.
Are you a dirty crook?
Yes.
Let me go, you big liar.
No, now stop wiggling and stand here. You wanted it all now, didn't you? Now you're going to get it. There's two things you're entitled to know. The first is you're a great kid. And I thought so from the very first. That's why I wanted you in the band. So you'd stop moping around and feeling sorry for yourself.
What band?
I always think there's a band, kid.
What's the other thing I'm entitled to know?
Well, actually, the other thing really isn't any of your business now that I think of it.
I wish you'd never come to River City.
No, you don't, Winthrop.
Sister, you believe him?
I believe every word he ever said.
But he promised us.
I know what he promised us, and it all happened just like he said. The lights and the flags and the colors and the symbols.
Where was all that?
In the way that every kid in this town walked around all summer and looked and acted, especially you and the parents, too. Does Mama wish he'd never come to River City?
Well, you do, don't you?
No, Winthrop. Now go, Harold, please.
Go on, Professor, hurry up.
I can't go, Winthrop.
Why not?
For the first time in my life, I got my foot caught on a door. There was love all around, but I never heard it singing. No, I never heard it at all, till there was you.
Which is why I interrupted the program at this point. And always remember, you can be rest assured that this snake in our bosom would have been misapprehended by this time. And I can only remind you that I did everything in my power to prevent this dire happening from happening. 4
What have you done to get our money back?
Right.
That professor collected nearly $300 for uniforms just tonight.
And we haven't even seen them uniforms yet.
Oh, he's slippery, I told you.
I haven't seen any uniform or my son either since just after supper. He's a kidnapper. This is a fine situation.
4 years. There he is. Virtue has triumphed. The sword of retribution has struck down Professor Harold Hill.
Yeah.
And if there are those, as I've heard, who might be melting tar or gathering feathers, I will not say them nay.
Well, I should think there ought to be some of you who could forget our everlasting Iowa stubborn, chip-on-the-shoulder arrogance long enough to remember River City before Harold Hill arrived. Do you remember? Well, do you? Surely there ought to be some of you who are grateful to him for what he's brought to River City. And if so, I should think you'd want to admit it.
Just a minute. You're wasting a great deal of time here. Now, if there's anyone in this hall who doesn't think this man Hill ought to be tarred and feathered, well, let him raise his hand. Look, you, Laley, put your hand down. And the rest of you standing there like a coat of Shropshire sheep. Have you forgotten how you bought those expensive uniforms, those technical instruction books, those high-priced band instruments? Have you forgotten how you were promised that this man would teach your children to play in a band? Well, where's the band?
Here's the band!
Where's the band?
instruments up. Think, men, think.